We have Ukrainian troops which are outnumbered in terms of weapons and ammo, but they're really motivated to defend their country and stand up to Putin's barbarity, right? And I do have a lot of communication with people in Russia who have their relatives, military servicemen, actually stationed right now in Ukraine. My reading is that they have hard time understanding what they're doing there. So this is the invader army with complete lack of any positive motivation, except these tales about Ukrainian Nazis, which are even less believable when you are present on the ground and deal a lot with local population and see what is really happening. So quality, morale, yes, they underestimate that, which means that their further losses will be absolutely devastating, but they think they can win the game simply with numbers. This kind of sort of flat understanding of the military balance.
John Keegan surveyed battles in the same kind of geographic area over 4 centuries. And what he said, battles are aimed at the disintegration of human groups. And of course, he's emphasizing the morale factor and how important it is for fighting units to have confidence in one another. Soldiers tend to fight for each other, and they have to have confidence in one another and in their leadership. And when that confidence is absent, those groups can disintegrate. And what is your read of these units that are being thrown into the line? I'm thinking of, the counteroffensive around Kharkiv, where that was the first wave of replacements. Or some of these volunteer battalions were there, and they broke very quickly. Some of our viewers may have seen the New York Times piece about Russian soldiers calling home and saying, it's not what you're seeing on national television, that we're not well organized. We don't have the right equipment. We have rusted machine guns.
Putin is still trying to prioritize drafting people now under the mobilization in villages, poorer regions, poorer towns, not really massively touching the capitals who have a habit of a much better political organization and defending their rights.
And of course the prisoners, right? We had Prigozhin go to prisons to say, okay, exactly. Hey, join up. And
to my reading, the prison population more used this draft as a way to get out, and then some of them escaped and so on.
And by the way, those are the last people you want in an army, by the way.
And I haven't seen any reports of them actually fighting effectively, right? So this is, again, one more sign of really desperation, reaching out to all these, murderers, rapists, and so on. It's a sign of desperation. But going back to the draft, yes, it spills over already to big cities, to capitals, and more population is actually beginning to realize what is really going on. I think to illustrate, many people in the West don't really get it in what kind of propaganda and disinformation bubble Russians are living in. Levada Center recently done a survey where they've shown that only 10% of Russians were aware that during this war, fighting was going on in Kiev region. Only 10%. 60-70% think that the warfare is only limited to Donbas region, where Russian television says that Ukrainians were doing some sort of genocide of the Russian-speaking people. Only now, with this mobilization, a large number of Russians are beginning to learn
about the failed offensive toward Kyiv and toward Odessa.
Yes, right? About the scale of the whole thing, about what is actually going on. And we'll see more data in the coming weeks, but there was clearly a lot of information suggesting that the reaction was overwhelmingly negative. Putin was saying initially that this is my war, somewhere on television, it will never touch you, you will live as previously, nothing dangerous. But now he says, no, I failed, I need you. All of you will be mobilized in a mandatory, often even brutal manner, sent to the battlefields. Obviously, society was not ready for this.